Comics.net. We're here today to do a very special event, a live Q&A on KOZOR, Descent into Madness, our comic book that we've been working on for the
Heck
last,
yeah.
what is it, Corey? 2 years now? Is that how long
Yeah.
we've been?
Very two two long, very hard working years on KOZOR just to make it
Wow.
perfect. Just to make
And
it
what
perfect.
an epic journey it's been, Corey. Two brothers coming together to descend into madness and create one of the most epic dark fantasy medieval horror comic books out there
Yeah,
in
heck
the
yeah.
indie comic book world in Comicsgate. And we're very proud to say that we're finally at the point at which we finished the book and now we're fulfilling it. We're getting some amazing feedback and we couldn't be happier with that. It's made it all worthwhile, the wonderful reception that KOZOR has gotten. But we're not here to talk about us today. We're here to talk about the book and to answer your questions. And we are using a different streaming platform for the first time. We're using Restream. So if there's any issues that you see while we're streaming, please let us know. If there's any strange issues, sounds coming through our microphone or muck ups with the video, be sure to let us know. But we can get this. Here's the cool thing with Restream is we can get the chat up and see all the wonderful comments that you are posting. At least that's what's supposed to happen. All right, there we go. So a big welcome to Good Stuff Comic Skater. It's great to see you here. We were just over on Good Stuff's channel talking about KOZOR. We've been doing a big promotional tour, you could describe it as. Isn't that cool? We,
Yeah.
as independent comic book creators, creator-owned creators, comic book creators, we can go around doing promotional tours on different channels, people that we have befriended along the way, fellow creators and audiences within the Comicsgate community and just within our general sphere. How to Draw Comics has been around for a little while, and I'm very proud to say we've made a lot of friends that we always enjoy talking to, but it's a bonus that we're able to promote KOZOR to their audiences as well, because KOZOR's the kind of book where the more eyes you get on it, I feel like the more people out there are going to have the opportunity to see the cool artwork and hopefully back our book.
Heck yeah.
It's a kind of eye candy book, which is I think what matters when it comes to selling comic books. You want the visuals there. Comic books
I mean,
are a
we've
visual
already
medium
got
after all.
like over 700 backers now, man, which is pretty
Yeah.
crazy. Like that's 700 people or more. I mean, how many books did we print all up?
My
'Cause,
goodness. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
we printed a lot of books, which is crazy to think 700 backers, but we have printed many more books than that, obviously, because people have backed multiple times, multiple books, different variant covers, different versions. So we've got the original version available on the campaign, and we've got the black and white version. We've also got the definitive colored version along with all the variant covers that come with that. So, yeah, some people have just dove right in there and decided, you know what, I'm going to get the whole lot.
Yeah, heck yeah.
So,
Got a
big
few
hello.
questions.
Big hello to D. Barry here. Hello to Micra. Thanks so much for joining us today. It's wonderful to have you tuning in. We've also got the art and times of Jay Ryan in the chat.
Yeah, Jay Ryan's, I think, recently set up his own YouTube channel, which is actually pretty good. He reviews
Oh,
some cool
awesome.
stuff over there. So,
Oh, that's fantastic.
good
I'm very pleased
commentator,
to hear
actually.
that. A good commentator, huh?
Oh,
Maybe I'm
good
going to have to
speaking.
tune into his channel, take some notes. Maybe we'll both have to do that. Corey and I have been talking about how we're both going to become better at this whole video thing. It's a little nerve wracking. I'm sure a lot of creators can relate. You think
Heck
you're
yeah.
good at making comic books, but then when you try to sell them, well, that's exactly what you have to do. You have to jump online and try to talk them up, convince people to trust you as a creator and to invest in your creation. But it's not an always easy thing to do, unfortunately, to sell people on the story and the thing that you put so much time into putting together, the blood, the sweat, and the tears.
Heck
And
yeah. I
so
mean,
we're constantly trying to master that element of the whole comic book creating process that most people just don't ever think about. Go ahead, Corey.
yeah. I was just gonna say, like, that's one thing we don't think about as creators is trying to sell a book because we've got our heads stuck in the book, like trying to create it and stuff all the time. We never, you know,
Mm,
think about how to explain it, but then we gotta just know how to sell it. So
totally. There's so many different spinning plates when it comes to both creating and marketing comic books. And
heck yeah.
within each one of these areas that you've got to learn about, that you've got to practice, and that you've got to get good at, there's sub challenges that start to pop up that you've also got to overcome. It keeps you engaged. I'll say that. It keeps you engaged. And these are skills that you learn that are so valuable for so many reasons later on down the track as well. I mean, if you can sell a comic book, you can certainly sell other things beyond that too.
Heck yeah.
Okay, let's see what the chat's saying here. We've got Mrs. Good Stuff who has joined us. Thanks so much for being here. And Mr. Good Stuff. Good Stuff says, got the got the good stuff. Giddy up on our show today. Two backers. Yes, absolutely. It's wonderful. I mean, the incredible support that we've been shown from
Oh, this is good
promoters
stuff.
and audience members
Do not,
and
whatever you do not call Clayton the Oracle. It goes to his head. Like I'll go to his place and he'll be like, "Dude, I was an Oracle man." Like he'll lecture me on everything he's been right about and everything he's going to get right in the future.
Corey. Don't lead the chat astray. They know my name's the Oracle. They know this. You feel free to
Sure,
call me
man.
the Oracle, guys. Corey loves it. Mrs. Good Stuff says, if you don't like KOZOR, that means you don't like hot babes. Oh, sorry, babes. I misquoted there.
I mean that is true. Like there's a
Yeah.
lot of babes, a lot of fantasy babes within KOZOR.
There
So
he is.
it's kind of like you're talking to your friend and you ask them, "Oh, did they get KOZOR?" And they're like, "No." You just say, "Well, what you like not in the babes or something?"
hmm
It's kind
We're
of
going to
like,
get to everyone in the chat today. It's all about you guys. We're here for you. We want your questions. So ask us whatever you like about KOZOR, about its creation, about fulfillment, about what you can expect as backers. Give us your concerns so that we can, work through them with you. Whatever it is, that's why we're here today. We've got Chuck Lee. He says, Now, can you come mouthing with drawing lessons so we can try to draw your own comics too? Our own comics too? Uh, yeah,
yeah.
we're going to be doing more drawing tutorials here on how to draw comics.
Dude, your new head drawing bundle, man. Tell them about that. You got to sell it.
Yes, I haven't put out the announcement yet, but I'm going to be creating a bundle. Or, well, there is a bundle already available on howtodrawcomics.net of all the heads lessons that I have released over the past few months. So you can get them all in one fell swoop and for an incredibly good price. But you've got to use the links on howtodrawcomics.net to get that. But that's besides the point. I'll be doing an announcement on it and giving you more information as to what's all involved with that. But we're here to talk about KOZOR today, so let's see what else is here in the chat. Oh, we've got Allison. Welcome, Allison. It's good to see you here. Friendly face in the chat. She says, hello, everyone. Spell check does suck, Chuck. I completely agree with you.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Good Stuff says, better than your head stuck up better than your head stuck up a bull's. Never mind. Oh, my goodness. Okay, I'm going to have to get better at reading these comments if we're doing this Q&A deal.
Heck yeah.
Mrs. Good Stuff says, Clayton is the Oracle. He knows what he's saying. Damn right. Wolverine. Big welcome, my friend. Wolverine is a very wonderful soul who I've had the pleasure to know over the last, year? Maybe more. I enjoy hanging out with Wolverine. He's a cool guy. He says, but if KOZOR were in a desert and imagined a cube, I know KOZOR isn't the character's name. Ease of reference. Sue me. Yes. Yes, Wolverine and I, we had a wonderful session the other night talking about his cube, deciphering the storms in his life that are happening and coming in and going out, and his ideal partners. It was wonderful. I got to know Wolverine on a whole other level. Micro says, Corey cutting out, or my internet being balls. Are you cutting out,
Am
Corey?
I still cutting out? I changed the resolution down. I thought you would want to see me high res so you could see my figures in the background.
Yeah, you look a lot better. Am I cutting out? I hope I'm not cutting out because I'm pretty high res too.
Yeah, man.
Look at you guys hailing each other in the chat. It's beautiful, this community. I tell you what. Allison says, I would back it, but I am just poor. It looks amazing as always, though.
That's all good.
Listen, we should say that KOZOR is, it's going to be closing down in about 24 hours from now. It'll be gone. And people have asked us, hey, Barton Bros, are you going to be making KOZOR available anywhere else after the campaign has shut down? And at this point in time, we really aren't going to, in the immediate future, make it available anywhere other than the campaign, which has 24 hours left. Because after this, and we've been hanging out for it, we've been wanting to move on to other projects. And we want to be putting our full time, energy, and effort into producing them. And anybody who's ever made a comic book knows just how much focus it requires. How you're always thinking about it. It's the only thing that you can really do if you want to get it done. And that was definitely the case with KOZOR. In fact, you might have noticed less tutorials, less streams, especially at the end, as we tried to get this book done. It took a lot out of us. And so my point is that we don't want to be retailers. We don't want to be making KOZOR available on, say, bartonbrostudios.com, which is our website, and fulfilling random orders that are coming in, because that would simply take too much time. We would need to be able to get to a point where we're able to hire a team of people to take care of that aspect of our business for us while we made comic books. But we don't have that at this point in time. And so after the campaign closes, the next time you see KOZOR, it'll likely be in another campaign, possibly our next campaign as an additional book that you can back. But in the foreseeable future, this is really going to be it. And that's not a sales tactic either. That's for real. It's not going to be available anywhere else.
Just wait until you see it on eBay for like $1,000.
It might be on eBay later on, depending on who actually wants to let go of their KOZOR comic. I know people have ordered multiple copies, and we've even given some people multiple copies. If that was, to be honest with you, somewhat of a hiccup that we experienced, but we've experienced many hiccups along the way with KOZOR. We've learned many, many lessons, valuable lessons. These have been nuggets of gold that we are able to take with us into the future as we endeavor to create more comic books.
Yeah. The
But they've
chat's
been
got
tough
any
lessons to learn.
questions?
Sorry?
It's not. If the chat's got any questions about KOZOR, it is meant to be questions and answer stream.
Yeah, yeah. And we're also going to be discussing where the campaign is at, where fulfillment is at, and what the reception of KOZOR has been for those of you out there who are on the fence about backing. Maybe you've been thinking about it, maybe you've been putting it off, but yeah, the deadline really is tomorrow night at around about this time. It might still be open at this time. We're closing out on John Maylands. It really depends how long he's going to go for. It might only be an hour, it might be multiple hours, but that's the plan. And so you've got 24 hours to decide whether or not you're going to make the dive into KOZOR and get this book for yourself, secure your copy. I don't want anyone to miss out because it is a cool book. Corey,
Okay.
let me ask you, how do you feel about KOZOR in general? I mean, this
I
is
feel pretty
this is your
good. I
book.
mean,
We've been working on
there
it
is
for a long
somewhat
time.
a big relief having it done and being posted out finally. Like it's kind of
Mm.
like it's good to be able to move on to the future, do future comics at the moment. But it's I don't know. I guess maybe we'll probably miss working on Koza together someday. Look back these days, all the things we went through on it, having to recolor clouds like 5 times. The multiple lectures from Clayton.
Well,
Anyway,
entire pages you had to recolor. Well, you didn't have to, but
we wanted the best book,
we
basically.
wanted the best book. And there were times where you were really reluctant, and I felt insane asking you to recolor entire pages for the third time.
Oh yeah, man. There's definitely times where I was like, fuck, I feel like I'm gonna have a breakdown. Like it's just. But then you get back to work that
Mm,
same day or even the next day or something, and you keep doing it. Like
yeah.
comics, they're definitely hard to do. Like I remember before I started Kozo comics, it's like all I'd done before was just like character pinups, like just normal drawings and stuff. And it's like you see a lot of good artists out there that do good pinups, and they just don't realize like when they get onto a comic book, it's a whole different scenario.
Oh, yeah. It sure is. And that was one of the key things that we really needed to make sure we had nailed in KOZOR. The reason that some pages had to be recolored multiple times over is to ensure consistency within the scenes over multiple pages. So, say for example, we had. Let me get some of these. I'm going to get some pages up for you guys just to show you because this was a main one here. This example that I'll get up right now.
We did have a good question from Good Stuff.
Oh, sweet. We'll get that up here in a moment.
Yeah.
So, this scene was one of those scenes that we colored multiple times over. This page.
Yeah.
And
So
this page was also part of, this page here was also part of that very same scene.
wait, go back to that other page, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is one I had to redo the clouds. And I mean, like looking back at it, like those clouds look nice and fluffy.
Hmm.
But I remember us going over like the light inside the tent, making sure stuff's not blending in. I remember for a time the red tent. Yeah, I think in the end you knocked that back a fair bit so it wasn't blending in the Chief Baron. Like all this stuff we had to take care of. It's a lot of
Absolutely.
just going over and making sure the image reads right.
Because the tent was red, it was
Yeah.
difficult to bring Baron who is the big, scary looking guy here in the foreground, into focus. For those who don't know, one of the reasons as to why stoplights are colored red and stop signs are also colored red is because red, the color, it hits your eye first, beyond any other
Yeah.
color, before any other color. And so that's what was happening here. One of the reasons for that is red is just a darker value in general. And so it's got a high level of contrast just based upon the value, let alone the hue that stands out like nothing else. You know, we see red, we see danger. Our blood is colored
Okay.
red. That's associated with our well being and mortality. So, red is a color that we take notice of. The tent was red, and
Allison. Oh,
we had to
you go.
really make sure that we diluted it a little bit so that it wasn't stealing too much attention. But
Yeah. Allison did ask, did you use a gradient map for the clouds? So basically, I used my same cut and grad technique, which is kind of like using the paintbrush in Photoshop as a gradient with selections
yeah,
to achieve that effect.
Corey essentially had to master that old 90s cut and grad technique that they used on comic books like Witchblade,
Heck
Spawn,
yeah.
The Darkness, because we really liked the look and we felt that it fit the line art style perfectly that we had decided upon for KOZOR. You see, it's graphic style, even though it is detailed. Just
Heck yeah.
line art itself is graphic, high contrast. And so we wanted a graphic look, a somewhat graphic look to the colors and just those hard cuts that separated the different levels of lightness and darkness throughout the gradients that you see here, you know, the highlights and the shadows within the colors. We felt that that would fit so perfectly. It would marry together with the line art beautifully. Let's get
Heck
back
yeah.
to, you said
Oh
good.
man, this
Yeah,
chat's going off there.
I know,
We got
right? I'm gonna,
Shelby in the chat, got Crazy Mad, Flying Feline.
yeah, for sure. Mrs. Good Stuff's comment, you said she left a good one. How far back was that? Oh, was that Good Stuff? Sorry. All right. Good Stuff says, how would you feel about KOZOR becoming an animated series or movie? That'd be, well, you go ahead, Corey.
Be awesome. I
KOZOR's
think
sort
we
of your baby before it was
answered
mine.
this the other day, and I'd probably prefer animated. Like a like I know people against anime, but maybe something like the heavy metal animation stuff. I think would be
Mm,
cool for Gozo.
heavy metal animation stuff. That would be great. The problem with KOZOR is it's not a problem as a comic book, but as an animation, it's a different story. Look how complex Chief Baron's design is.
Yeah,
This is one
I
of the
mean, when there's
reasons
a
it took
will,
a
there's a
long time
way.
to draw.
If you remember, I mean, you look at how detailed the Berserk manga is, and they managed to animate that somehow.
Oh,
So
yeah, they sure did. Every time we wanted to draw Chief Baron, this is what we were in for. Every single panel,
yeah.
right?
Clayton
Every
kept
time we
forgetting
wanted,
the chains as well on his armor.
I did. I even forgot the chains on Chief Baron on this page. I had to go back later on and put them in there, make sure that once again that consistency was happening from one panel to the next, page after page.
Yeah,
We've got Crazy Mad in the house. Big welcome to you, Crazy Mad. Thanks for being here. His question is, why is Clayton keeping me from reading KOZOR?
yeah.
Now
Where's your
this,
book at, man?
well, this does lead in to where we're at with fulfillment. So let's speak about that for just a moment. So currently, with fulfillment, we've had to pause it, and so there's a slight going to be a slight delay, even with those who backed before we decided to start fulfilling. So what I mean by that is the original plan was to take all the backers that are back thus far, a few weeks ago, and fulfill their books. while all the new backers that jumped on board between that point and now would have their books fulfilled after the campaign was closed. We were
Yeah.
able to fulfill a good amount of books, and it's been wonderful to see everybody posting them receiving their packages online through social media. We've even had a few reviews come in, which have been beautiful to see. And I encourage everybody, if you're even thinking about reviewing KOZOR, please do. We want to hear what could be improved the next time around, how we can become better comic book creators. We want to see people receiving their packages. That's an awesome experience. That's the big payoff for us, is you guys receiving your book.
Yeah, dude.
But
Malin's in the chat, and he says like 3D animation stuff, which is what I was saying the other day as well.
no, 3D animation style. There you go.
Yeah.
So with the KOZOR, and by the way, big hello to John Malin. Thanks so much for being here. It's awesome to have you. John Malin's been a huge support to the Barton Bros the entire way through. He's had faith in us. He's believed in us. And now here we are actually fulfilling the book. So thanks not only to John Malin, but everyone else who has stuck with us throughout the entire process. So currently with fulfillment, we've had to delay it because we lost a big shipment of books just in transit. We obviously got in touch with the Postal Service here in Australia. They got in contact with their international branch over in the States. They spent a good amount of time trying to track down this package, and it just seems to have gotten lost. Nobody knows where it is. This is what they have told me. And so, luckily, the books were insured, which is fantastic. We sent 11 large packages, full packages of books, over to the States to be fulfilled by RJ, aka Critical Blast. But I assumed that not all the packages would make it. That's why I insured them. It's Murphy's Law, man. Everything is going to go wrong, or it at least has the potential of going wrong. And not only does it go wrong, but it produces a cluster of smaller problems that need to be solved as well. For example, in order to get the refund and the insurance for the books, I had to go through this whole process of proving to them how much each book was actually worth. And so problems have a habit of expanding, and you just...
Wait, how did you manage to prove that to them?
Well, initially I sent them the invoice for how much the print run costed, because I actually never got a receipt from the printer themselves. And they said, this doesn't prove anything. You need to give us a receipt. And so I had to actually go and get the electronic transfer receipt from my bank account and show them that way. And I did all the math for them. Here's how much a single book is worth, times that by the amount we lost. That's how much insurance you need to give me. They didn't just pay me for the insurance either. They actually paid me for the value of the books themselves, which was quite good of them. Inconvenient, obviously, because it people say overprint. We actually didn't overprint by a whole lot. And there were also other things that happened along the way that caused a significant shortage of books to come about. Some people might have noticed that they received 2 KOZOR books. Well, they might have received 1 KOZOR book extra than they were expecting to get. Now, consider that a bonus. It wasn't supposed to happen, to be quite frank with you. We haven't talked a lot about this. This was something that wasn't supposed to happen. It was just a case of confusion on behalf of us and on behalf of Critical Blast. And this is the kind of result that can happen, is a little bit of a costly, well, not a little bit, but quite a costly mistake and delays on top of that.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, combined with the lost books that vanished during transit, they might turn up later on down the track, who knows. This has caused a delay, but the great thing about it is we're able to fulfill the books, and we're able to get them to backers, hopefully in a reasonable, quick amount of time. In other words, by Christmas time, over the next month, or over this month, starting this month at least, and get everything fulfilled throughout December. We obviously had to work through a few things in order to get a whole bunch of issues that come up resolve. These were things that were unforeseen that we certainly couldn't have guessed would happen or had much control over. We probably should have been paying attention to certain areas that we weren't paying attention to. But as I said, all of these lessons we are taking special note of, listing down and ensuring that we take full advantage of them going into the future.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's so many chat comments.
You say, oh wow, thanks so much
Yeah,
everyone
it's
for
going off.
let's keep working through these. And Crazy Mad, thank you for that question. Again, any concerns you guys have about what I just said as well, please, pick my brain about it. I'm happy to, we've always been tried to be as upfront and honest with you guys as possible, and that's certainly still the case. So that's why we're doing this whole Q&A. All right, yeah, Flying Feline, good to see you here. Flying by to hit the like button. I encourage everybody to do the same. We're also streaming to a few different places, so we should be getting comments in from Facebook, primarily Facebook, and just this YouTube channel, How to Draw Comics. All right, we've got American Discord in the chat. Shelby Robertson, good to see you, my friend. Thanks so much for joining us. He says, apples are red. Apples are red, and Eve ate one and doomed us all.
He's
Yes,
talking about how
we'd
you
all be
mentioned the red.
all chilling
color
out in the
before.
Garden of Eden still otherwise. Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely. Well, it's these are the kind of things that I can't tell you guys how much we had to work on this page right here to get it right. It took just a little bit of time, that's for sure. Yeah.
I think part of it was
Let
just
me see here.
deciding
How do
the
I?
daytime lighting.
It was, yeah. And then we had to make sure that it matched this page here, the same kind of lighting, making sure the characters were all lit with the same. It wasn't just the lighting, it was the color of the lighting. Making sure that was blending with their base colors properly. Took time, but it was totally worth it. All right, I'm going to keep going through these chats here. We've got Wolverine here. He says, also, why the border and lettering on stop signs is white? So referring back to the red hitting your eye first. This is why. He says, keeps the red sign from blending into autumn trees or slightly similarly hued houses or cars or whatever. That's brilliant. Awesome. High contrast. All right. That's awesome. That was a great little conversation starter, wasn't it? I see you there as well, Allison, talking about a dark red I could see popping the background and losing the foreground. That's exactly what happened, my friend. American Discord says, still a few in chat who haven't smashed that like button. Hit that like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. Absolutely do that. We'd love you to catch more of our videos here.
Share out the campaign if you scan. Like, it's only 24 hours, right?
Yeah, share the campaign. Absolutely. We're trying to get as many eyes on this as possible, simply because we don't want people who would have backed to miss out. Ideally, people, if you share the book and someone backs it because of that, I mean, they're going to thank you for it. Well, hope they might not necessarily go out of their way to thank you for it, but they'll be happy to see that you shared it, because it wasn't for you, they wouldn't be able to get that book. So put it out there, show it to as many people as possible. Buy some for your friends, show it to them. Wolverine says, I'd have been tempted to add a plaid pattern on the red tent instead of recoloring the whole tent. But kudos to the boys for going the long way. Yeah, we certainly went the long way on a lot of things. John Malik, welcome. He says, KOZOR transported me to a new world, better than a lot of other books have managed in a similar page count. Thank
That's
you.
freaking
We try
awesome.
to do that intentionally. And when one of the ways we do it is we use a lot of establishing shots. So we really like to give the characters a sense of
Yeah.
place within the book. And we like to pull you into that world along with it. So it's great that you actually picked up on that and
Heck
noticed it.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, man, I saw it like originally doing KOZOR. The reason every panel has a background is because it's like fantasy, and the world really matters in fantasy. Like you got to
Yeah.
establish it.
Yeah, we're making it up.
So
We've got to so because we're making it up, we've got to present that fictional world to you to really make you buy in and suspend that disbelief.
yeah, heck
Micro
yeah.
says, and that's why they put superheroes in spandex for so long. Oh yeah, he's talking about the complex character design of Chief Baron and a lot of the other characters in the book. Man, I'm not even even these characters here. Uh, oh, hang on. I'm still getting used to Restream. I'll get into the habit of it. Even these characters here, these beautiful insect women,
Hmm.
yeah, there's a lot of just their body here, just their anatomy that we had to worry about. But then when you're looking at their shoulder pads, I mean, look at that. That's crazy amount of. I had to go
Yeah,
in
heck
there,
yeah.
separate them, render each one out. It was kind of nuts. All right, we've
I
got.
think in the final edits, man, you really perfected their skin tone.
Mm,
Unlike the human babes and these insect ones, like it's a nice yellow, man.
yeah, for sure. In the end, as we were preparing the book for print, I was very conscious of making certain colors stand out. I didn't want it to be
Yeah,
a completely flat page. There were certain things I wanted to stand out, and these insect women were one of those elements. And stand out they did. They're one of the most beautiful. This is one of my favorite pages within KOZOR.
heck
They
yeah.
just look absolutely gorgeous. Let me get up another page here as well while we're at it. Here's another example of one of the insect women.
Yeah,
Again,
this
you
is a
can see
great
those
page.
shoulder pads a little bit easier there. Lots and lots of detail. Did I cringe slightly whenever I had to draw the shoulder pads of these beautiful women? Yes, I did,
Dude,
because
his
I knew
shoulder pads
what I
look
was in
great,
for.
man. It adds to
It does.
the silhouette shape.
It it was
Something like that. It like it
always
makes them stand out in a way.
it was so worth it every time. Yes, we had to be patient. Backers had to be patient. But now KOZOR has been immortalized as a book. It's there forever. And we can appreciate all that work that went into it forever now until the end of time. So, at least those who actually backed the book. So, that's what's awesome about it. And that's how I rationalized the unfortunate delays that occurred with KOZOR. Corey and I got to points where we really asked ourselves, hey, we know that we're upsetting backers by delaying this book. And we
Yeah, man.
hated that. We wanted to be done with the book.
I mean,
But
I would be interested because like we've gotten a pretty like really positive response for Koza so far, but it'd be interested this year if anyone was like, I don't know, should have it had taken this long or should have it not? You
look,
know, like was it all worth it in the end?
there hasn't been any backers yet who have said that this book wasn't worth the wait.
Yeah,
The experience I've had with this book doesn't justify the wait. We haven't had anybody say that to us. In fact, it's been very much the opposite. In fact, we've had, at least in the few reviews that have come out for KOZOR, people talking about how this is one of their favorite books that they've crowdfunded ever, which is obviously it. When KOZOR was done, when it was finished with, I remember showing KOZOR the final printed version of the book for the first time. He came over to my house. I showed it to him. I said, man, here's your copies for you to keep. and he barely even read it. And to be quite honest, like we had a bit of a flip through, but you'd think after all that time and effort, we would sit down and really take it all in and
Is
appreciate that
this me you're
hard
talking
work.
about?
Yes, it's you
Oh yeah. No,
and
dude, I
me.
looked through it all. I
Yeah,
think
I know. I remember at the time though, when you first got it in your hands, you're a bit. I
I
don't know.
think when I got home, I definitely like took the time to read through it all.
Oh, cool. Well,
I
that's
think
good
we were
then.
just like hanging out then.
I guess
But
what
I
I'm
mean,
getting.
like, man, I
Go
love
ahead.
Berserk, and I feel like when I see KOZOR, it's like one of those comics I always wanted, like theme wise,
Hmm.
quality wise. So, I
Yeah.
think it's a great book, in my
What
opinion.
I'm saying, the point I'm trying to make, and I'll speak for myself here, not Corey necessarily, but I was kind of very burnt out on KOZOR by the end, and I don't think I properly appreciated what we had achieved when all was said and done. And it's only now, through seeing these reviews, seeing what people are posting online, that's making me take a second look at it with a new perspective and go, damn, we really did achieve something amazing here. I think,
Heck
you
yeah.
get stuck in it for so long that you you become blind to what's really there, and it's hard to appreciate. But
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
we
it's
gotta.
it's really cool. You guys have put it this way. You guys have made me appreciate Kozo more just through the responses, the amazing responses you've given us.
Heck yeah.
Wolverine says, "What the boys are trying to say is be careful not to over design your characters, or it's your own damn fault when it's
Nah,
a
dude,
pain in the
stuff
ass
it.
to draw."
Give them more details. Make them look cool.
It is worth it.
I
It
mean,
is,
which
man.
character looks cooler, Superman or Chief Baron?
I don't know. I think it's got to be Chief Baron.
Yeah,
I'm going to get this face up here because everybody loves this face on this page. This
that
face
is a
I
good face.
redrew 3 times.
Man, we
No,
gotta
actually,
answer
maybe only twice.
chat questions more, man. Like, there's so
Yeah,
many
yeah.
chats.
Sorry. Yeah, let me go through here. Yep, we saw that one. Let me scroll down a bit. Oh, John Malin's here. He says CGI animation. Yep, can keep the
Yeah.
details. Yeah, that was awesome.
I
All
mean, maybe you
right.
should just scroll up to the top, man. You're way
Maybe
too
yeah,
far.
maybe I should. Maybe I should. Hang on, let me get this chat back up here again.
Oh, we did have one box that was like, I think they opened up and then repacked it just to check what was inside.
Yeah, yeah, they
Yeah.
sure did. Micro says, wait, Clayton was worrying about the ship sinking was kind of warranted. Yes. Guys, cover your asses, man. That is what I have learned. That is what I have learned throughout this whole process. All right, I'm going to scroll down a little bit further. We've got the art. We've got Jay Ryan. He says, I mean, we are practically the same age. Oh, he's just talking good stuff in the chat. That's cool.
Wait, really? Jay Ryan's that old?
Hmm.
Yeah.
American Discord says, you guys have the real lost pages. Phil is a poser. Oh, wow. Thanks so much, by the way, for all the amazing comments you guys are putting into the chat. We really do appreciate it. Crazy Mad says, I'm still going to blame Clayton, though. I know Corey is doing everything possible because he's the coolest. I mean, it's
Yeah.
true. I can't I
I try
can't
hard.
really deny that. I'll try to be better. Devilish Doy Liat says, we are creating our first book and just starting our YouTube channel and would love to talk with you guys about comics and starting a book series. That'd be pretty awesome. We'd love to talk to you about that. Oh, wow,
Heck yeah.
Johnny. Thank you, my friend. Thanks so much for that. He says, just backed. Thanks, guys. Man,
freaking
Appreciate
awesome.
you. And you know what I'm really excited for? For you to get KOZOR and to open it up for the first time and to just enjoy this book that we've created. Thanks, John Malin. John Malin posting the link in the chat there. Go ahead, click it. As I said, KOZOR's closing out in probably less than 24 hours now. So I don't want you to miss it. If you wanted KOZOR, if you're somebody who may want KOZOR, this is your chance. Share it with other people who might be interested in, dark fantasy, medieval horror. A lot of people have been comparing KOZOR to old school Conan, actually, which is great.
Yeah, Jay Ryan, I think Shelby is pretty old, right?
All right. Crazy Mad says Clayton isn't really the worst Shelby, but he's right up there with Noah in people I enjoy giving a hard time to. All right. Micro says I want to see a Keown cover for KOZOR too. And Corey,
Thank you.
if you see any questions pop up, just bring my attention to them, please do.
All right, I'll look.
Micro says, all right, well, I know that just looks like a chat that you're having with somebody in the chat there.
What do you think about a Dale Keown cover, man? Would that be
I think
cool?
that'd be pretty damn amazing, actually.
Heck yeah.
Really awesome to see you just hanging out in the chat here with us, guys. It's absolutely amazing.
I don't see many questions, just people hanging out.
Crazy Mad says, after seeing the side by sides of the beginning and now, so he's talking about the previous presentations of KOZOR that we were showing and the current one, he's, well, he thinks it's worth it. And
Heck
man,
yeah.
like I said, now that it's done,
Oh,
it's done.
This is old KOZOR. That's what it could have been.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Old school KOZOR. Wow, I actually made it to the end of the chat here. Cool. So let's take a look at what Jay Ryan says. He's talking about something random in the chat. I know his leg bleeds when he drinks milk and it pools around his feet, but let's not kick the man when he's down. Cool. So, Devilish Doy Liart says, after hearing about you redrawing pages, it gave me a positive feeling that I don't have to be sold on the first draft. No, absolutely not. No, you don't.
Yeah.
Look, I think that just in general, even if you aren't going to go to the lengths we did on KOZOR, every page is going to present its challenges. That's just the honest truth of the matter. I've never just glided through a page and not made a mistake along the way. There's a journey involved.
Yeah, Jay Ryan, I reckon Clayton's probably going to give me a lecture about it later, so I'd say about an 8.
Shelby Robertson says, chat, please slow down. My old eyes can't keep up. We're going to take a look at some more cool art from KOZOR in just a moment. American Discord has always been a fan of the original version of KOZOR. It says old KOZOR is still wicked good, guys. Yeah. And you can actually get it.
Oh, good Jeremy Burt's, man. Good to see him.
Hey, Jeremy Burt's good to see you here, my friend. Thanks so much for tuning in there. He says, the Jay Ryan says, Corey, on a scale of 1 to 10, how annoyed is Clayton with us derailing the stream? Yeah, that's really fun. Yeah, I had to give Corey a lecture just today.
You ain't gonna take down the stream, are you?
No, I'm not going to. No, I said, Corey, you need to learn how to sell your book.
Yeah, man, I'm trying, but you ask me on the
trying.
spot questions. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn.
I know, bro.
Look, it's got super hot babes and monsters. Like, that's the best marketing I know.
What more could you ask for? Listen, I want to give everybody a real treat here and play the brand new trailer that we've just got created for KOZOR. It's a little bit less of a story trailer like the original one, which you can check out on the campaign page. Link is in the description below.
Wait, Shelby asked an important question. I think you should
Yeah,
read it,
sure.
man.
I can read it. So Shelby asks, Korey, will you be getting another anime statue if you act properly on this stream?
I would like one. I would.
All right, let me play the trailer for you guys real quick.
Oh, dude. No comment or anything on the statue? Damn. Just ignore the Shelby.
I thought that was a question for you.
Yeah, but I thought you would say something about it as well. Anyway. It's all good.
You get statues when you work and when you do a good job. All right, let's go. Awesome.
It's a good trailer, man. It's a good trailer.
Yeah, you like it? I saw you smiling a lot I can see Korey.
Oh, Jay Ryan asked another important question, man. I think you should check it.
This one?
Oh, yeah, well, there's two. Yeah, there's like another Ray one in that same collection, the Neon Genesis. That's what I'd get.
Do you want to read the question?
Oh, yeah, he says, if you do get an anime statue, what will it be? So it'd probably be the Ray one. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's if I had the cash.
Korey would have to pull off something pretty epic to get that as a bonus. That's what he gets. He gets anime statues as bonuses or bribes to complete the colors on his own book. Sometimes. Desolate Soul Studio says, yeah, I just wanted to know if there is penciled rough drafts of the book. Oh, probably not, actually. I mean, would you have any of those,
originally, I probably would have done up thumbnails a long time ago, but I don't know if I'd have to file for it still.
Yeah.
Like, that's how old KOZOR is I've changed like 3 different computers since it first started. So
talk about KOZOR's history a little bit. How did it all begin? What gave you the idea to go do KOZOR, and how long has it actually been in the making for?
Heck yeah, man. Well, I remember one day Clayton was telling me about this great anime called Berserk. We sat down and watched it with the family, and that just changed my life forever. I got obsessed with Berserk, and then I wanted to make a comic in that same theme, dark fantasy. So that's what really sparked the inspiration for KOZOR. And I think I started writing. Okay, I was working a really like lame job at like a clothing op shop or something.
Yeah.
Stuck at a bus stop or something, and that's when I started writing dot points of KOZOR. That's when it all started.
Oh yeah.
And then from those dot points, I then draw.
So, so you were really motivated to get out of the pickle that you were in at the op shop. I remember you hated
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
You were depressed. I remember going on the
yeah,
public transport with you, the train, and it was a brutal
yeah.
time.
Having to work a really crap job is a good motivator to try and do your own thing. So
Oh yeah. Shelby Robertson says, "Pretty late here, guys. This trailer makes me run laps, and the cops here in a shooting mood. Are in a shooting mood, right?" Crazy Mad says, "Corey is still looking for a pitch, right?" Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah. Well, Corey, tell people what KOZOR is actually about, because this is something that I do feel really only you can answer at the end of the day. You know, KOZOR is your baby, and I know that you've had a vision for where KOZOR was going to go and what it was going to be from the very beginning. Things that you've had to fill me on,
yeah. Heck yeah.
fill me in on.
I mean, I think KOZOR in general, it's a lot like Berserk, but I guess it's not like your typical dark fantasy book. Like I wanted to have like a villain that was more psychological, and so it'd be more of like a KOZOR is more of like a mysterious kind of trippy book. Like you have to reread it a few times to kind of work out what's happening.
Yeah.
So the main villain will be manipulating events, and you
Mm.
kind of have to like read it back and forth. So there's a
So
lot of
Corey,
nightmares, big brutal warriors.
mm.
Yeah. What are you gonna say?
So Chief Baron, right? He is the guy in the story. This
Yeah.
gentleman here. Let me get him up again.
I should say. So yeah, Chief Baron's the main character in the story, but so KOZOR is like this sort of godlike character in the background, and the
So
next issue will revolve more around Chief Baron's daughter. So each issue will sort of like follow different characters, and it will revolve around KOZOR as like a main character in the center, telling the one main story.
right. So
So
KOZOR is kind of a deity, the a deity within this world, among others. Sort of like
yeah,
Greek mythology we are talking here, except this is Corey's own mythology. And KOZOR is one of these otherworldly beings that have immense powers, unspeakable power. What is KOZOR able to do? And what I'd like to know, what I've always wanted to know, is how does he actually fit into the story? What's his history with Chief Baron? Why does KOZOR care about Chief Baron? Because it seems like, especially especially just going through the book, that there is at least some connection there that isn't necessarily expanded on, but is definitely hinted at.
yeah, heck yeah. Well, yeah. See that I don't exactly want to spoil that connection, but I will say like so Magator, he's sort of like locked up in like a prison in this underworld of KOZOR, right?
So
And
Magator's locked up in the prison.
yeah,
So
and
that's
because
the
he's like
psychic
a
demon. That's the
yeah
psychic demon that is.
psychological and stuff.
Now, what
He
does he do?
preys on characters like Chief Baron because Chief Baron he's kind of like messed up from like war and stuff, so he's kind of like a weakened mind, but he's a strong warrior, and that's why Magator is kind of going after him and manipulating him.
Why is Chief Baron's mind so weak? He seems like he should be able to withstand anything at this point. You know, he's been through some stuff. He's seen battles. He's seen bloodshed,
Yeah,
and yet
man.
his mind is broken. Why is that? What happened?
I think you'll find it out throughout the book. It's a lot to do with the relationship between him and his daughter and how that sort of all came about. Um, you know,
What is his relationship with
under
his
different
daughter? How does
events.
she come into it? Let's take a look at Alice here for a second. This is
Yeah.
Chief Barron's daughter.
Yeah, so this is like an opening, sort of a nightmare at the start of the book. And basically, when you go through it, you kind of like, what the heck is going on here? And it's just meant to show how Magator is manipulating Chief Barron's thoughts towards, different
Hmm.
things.
Now, rest assured, she doesn't look that horrifying. Really, this is just a nightmare,
Yeah,
essentially, that Chief Barron is having. This is more. This is a more accurate representation of
yeah.
Alice, Chief Barron's daughter. Now, as you can see, she's
She's
been
older.
through some battles of her own. She's
Yeah,
older here, and we do get introduced to her within the story. So, this is very much about Chief Barron and his daughter. We're laying some foundational groundwork here
heck
for
yeah.
how they fit into the world of KOZOR, how they are related to KOZOR, and what's going to happen later on down the track. They are important characters, and they
Yeah.
play prominent roles throughout not just issue 1, but issue 2, issue 3, and issue 4, and issue 5, and issue 6. Corey was talking about multiple volumes of KOZOR, which is why I personally like sitting down with Corey and just picking his brain about this vast saga that he's got conjured up inside his mind. Now, we mentioned Magator, just
Mm,
to give you a proper visual representation of this character. Well, this is who we're dealing with right here. This is Magator. Now, there's a bit of dialogue here that is kind of crowding up this page,
heck yeah.
but there was a lot of
Man,
story that we had to get
what I
expressed
will
here.
say, I, okay, so the relationship between Chief Baron and his daughter is that she kind of like resents him
Mm,
because Chief Baron, he kind of he goes to a bit of a dark side where he's more obsessed and cares about like warfare and stuff like that, killing
mm.
monsters, and he kind of overlooks his daughter. Like his daughter feels like he's become kind of like this monster. He's not really a father anymore. He's more, you know, some
Yeah.
others. And
Now,
yeah,
what are these? Explain what's going on here, because I think that this part of the book it sort of goes into the mythology of Magator, this evil
heck yeah,
psychic demon that is threatening the entire world, the universe, essentially within KOZOR.
yeah. Well, when you read this part, you obviously like it tells the origin of Magator, but basically, there's also this other like godlike character, which is like this three-faced god monster
Hmm.
thing,
Again, multiple deities in
and
this story.
yeah, he actually he banishes Magator's sort of like parents and stuff to this underworld, and Magator is kind of like a born as this like sort of unholy abomination, like pure evil, and so this three-faced god sends down these sort of angel women to imprison Magator so he doesn't get out and like destroy the world.
Now, when you say sort of angel women, do you mean Zeplagons? Because that's what they are.
Yeah,
Yeah. They're called the
yeah.
Zeplagons. They're a race of
Clayton was good at names.
yeah.
You can't help
They're a
it.
race of celestial beings essentially that are part of the three-faced gods, I guess, army. So they're Magator, and you'll find out what his origins exactly are and why the three-faced god fears him so much. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
it's pretty cool.
John in the chat does ask, how deep does the lore go, and do you have a pretty lengthy blueprint of the overarching storyline? Well, yeah, basically. Like, there's a lot. Originally, I had like 10 sort of volumes planned for KOZOR of like the first sort of big part. So a lot of these godlike characters are eventually going to come into it, and there's going to be some insane epic battle, and you'll get to see how all the different characters like transform and change throughout it. So there's a lot to come, but I don't want to obviously spoil it all.
There is, absolutely. KOZOR is quite a nightmarish tale, and because it because it's laying a foundation, the structure of the story, Corey has put a lot of creativity into it. And so
Yeah,
it even though we're laying the foundation and we're talking about the history of Chief Baron, where he's come from, where he's going and what's become of him, this entire narrative plays out as an experience.
yeah.
Okay. And
Like, there's a lot of history behind Chief Baron. I think we were even planning out to where maybe there's like past events where Chief Baron goes up against Borok. So it
yeah,
could
Chief
potentially be a
Baron and
common thing
Borok are
there.
also connected. They've got their own thing going on as well. They exist within the same world. Borok is in fact a spin-off that is tied to the KOZOR universe.
Yeah.
The events that unfold in Borok, events within KOZOR. So it's pretty cool in that way that we've been able to link those two stories up. But KOZOR specifically, I mean, people have said some really awesome stuff about it. I should get up some of the reviews here. I wonder if I can. Look, if you look up KOZOR in YouTube and you arrange it by, the latest videos that have come out, you'll come across some of the reviews. I think there was one by Podcast on the Rocks or something like that. They were talking about the book and they had some great things to say about it. And it was amazing because they really got the true essence of KOZOR, which I didn't think people would immediately pick up. So it's a good sign that he was able to have the sort of experience that we were hoping he'd get, and that we're
Heck
hoping
yeah.
every backer has in the end.
Shelby tweeted at the stream. He said the
Thanks so
book
much,
deserves
Shelby.
a ton more eyes. It's good.
Yeah, it does. It deserves at least this many eyes. One, two. It deserves at least that many eyes. There's many eyes
I mean,
that's on
there's
this
more eyes
page.
on the next page, but
Yeah, there's even more eyes on that page. You don't want to see that page, trust me, guys.
Shelby does have a question.
Awesome. That's
Would you
great.
recommend this book to a blind woman? What color would she see in the book as? I think we went over this on his stream the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd
Bright
recommend
red.
this book to everybody. If you happen to be blind, um, I would suggest getting a nice friend to read KOZOR to you. You can still have a wonderful experience. They can describe also the beautiful imagery that goes along with the dialogue on top of that. Who knows? Maybe the image you conjure up inside your mind will be even more nightmarish than what we were able to come up with. But definitely, anybody can enjoy this book. Let's take a look at some of the other comments. All right.
Wait. Wolverine says, I had a question. Now we see the violence inherent in the system.
I had a question. Now we see the violence inherent in the system. Is that a question?
I don't know. Jay Rowett, and does he have one?
Yeah.
If this book was a violent barbed wire filled with cotton candy, what flavor would it be? I don't know, strawberry flavor?
It'd be the flavor of blood.
Blood
Mud,
and guts.
sweat and tears. Yeah. Right.
Oh, we got a few more backers? It's awesome.
Oh, awesome.
Shelby.
Thanks so much, guys. We really, really appreciate you. Oh, so some people in the chat as well.
Yeah. Oh, we've got Alex who said he just backed the definitive edition. Oh,
Oh,
pretty great.
nice, Alex. Yeah, he says just back the definitive and black and white editions. Beautiful artwork, great guys. Yeah, look,
No,
let's get the campaign up here for a moment. Just going to switch this off. All right. Yeah, certainly post anything else that you want us to answer. We're probably going to be on here for another 20 minutes or so. Let me get up the campaign. I'll refresh this. We're at 717 backers since I last refreshed. 719. Two more backers
almost
have jumped on
720.
board. Beautiful. Thanks so much for that, guys. We really do appreciate you. And it's really incredible that we've got 719 backers who are going to be holding KOZOR in their hands. Up until we launched this book, it had been me and Corey and maybe less than a handful of people that had read KOZOR. You know, family, people who were close to us, and maybe a couple people who had somehow gotten their hands on it. But we had never printed it. We'd never really shown it to a mass audience. And so I guess launching this campaign really pushed us to make it even more than what it was when it started out. And the fact that we were able to do it as brothers, I think, has certainly made our relationship, our bond stronger. And that the comics we create together going forward, you know, we're certainly starting to think about our own separate titles. I'm doing Borok, Corey's doing Androminoids now, and we're taking the lessons that we learned working on KOZOR together and putting them into those projects.
Yeah. Oh, and there will be a KOZOR too. I think
be.
After we get Androminoids out, maybe in the later half of next year, I'll start working on KOZOR too.
From what we've seen, people are hanging out for a KOZOR too. They're super excited that it's going to be continuing, which is great.
Yeah. If KOZOR's head were real, how much would it be worth?
Veal? All right, now I'm going to go ahead here and just...
Oh, Shelby wants to know, Corey, will there be babes in Androminoids? Well, Shelby, there's going to be more than just babes, because the Androminoids are like superhuman warriors, so like super babes. So,
oh yeah,
keep a lookout for Androminoids.
Absolutely. So, what I'm going to do is play the trailer, this trailer for KOZOR here, because it gives you a really good overview of exactly what you can expect from KOZOR and what it's all about. So, go ahead and do that now.
KOZOR Descent into Madness features 43 full-color pages of intricately detailed art that tells a nightmare-fueled story of foul demons, abundant bloodshed, and the insidious corruption of a warrior's psyche. The story centers around a mighty warrior named Chief Barton and his clan of savage swordsmen who embark on a quest into the sacred swamplands of Nimla in search for the mysterious Faceless People, a race of submissive super soldiers who will balance out the odds in a ruthless war between man and demon. But when they're attacked by a flock of flying beasts, their journey proves more fatal than they could have ever imagined. In this campaign, backers get no less than the definitive edition of KOZOR Descent into Madness, which comes complete with refined edits, additional story pages, retouched interior artwork, and new wraparound covers. If you're a fan of dark fantasy and medieval horror, this book is for you. Back KOZOR Descent into Madness today, only on Indiegogo.
Sweet.
Please back KOZOR so I can get another anime statue. Please. Please.
The other thing I want to play for you guys is this review. It doesn't go for long. It goes for 4 minutes or so. But it's by Podcast on the Rocks, and I just thought this is one of the first, I guess, experiences from someone that I've seen who has read KOZOR and is giving their take on it. And so I want to share that with you because there's no spoilers in it, and I think it'll give you a good idea as to what you can expect when you decide to back KOZOR and pick up your copy of it. So I'll go ahead and I'll play that for you now. All right, KOZOR review. Still learning this, guys. Get this up here. Make it bigger. There it is. I think I shared the audio.
And then the one I just got today, KOZOR.
Yeah.
Doesn't that look pretty cool?
I
Is it
love
awesome
that. I love the
Pretty
background on
metal.
that. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Descent into Madness. So it came with these some prints. Like I just think
wow. That
that art
detail
is
is
really
stunning.
good. I know, right?
Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah, I'm a fan. It's very like Conan the Barbarian, Death Dealer, those sort of things. Very kind of dark but fantasy world. And I basically as soon as I got this today, I read it. So I've read this one already. It's not super big, but it's got, again, very detailed, awesome art,
Yeah.
cool character designs. And again, I don't want to give away things in here and show pictures
I love
that are
it's I love that it's like muted but still colorful.
yeah.
Like I mean the previous comic Inglorious Rex, that was very like 80s like pop color
bright yeah.
superhero. Yeah, absolutely. And this is like it's much darker feel, much more muted colors, but it's not like complete grayscale or just like an absence of color.
Yep.
I really like this. That's
yeah,
cool.
there's like a bronze-ish to things. It's a good
yeah, exactly.
I'm a big fan of this art. So of all the independent comics I have supported so far, this has been my favorite that I've read. I blew through it. I definitely need to read it a couple more times because it's a lot of like, I won't give spoilers other than like there is a creature that sort of plays with people's minds, kind of brings people, it's called Descent into Madness, and this creature is messing with people's like perceptions and some of that. So you're not entirely sure always what is happening when. Sure. There's sort of definitely a puzzle to unravel here, and it's going to continue in a volume 2. I was wondering, is this going to wrap up in one book? Because that would be, how is it going to do that? But it's not. So it's laying a foundation, and I hope they can follow up with something that's as good. This is by Korey and Clayton Barton, so I think they're brothers. And so it's kind of cool. It's like family thing that they're doing. And
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I just I don't know. Sometimes these books then they're like kind of a Conan the Barbarian sort of thing, or Red Sonja, or something in this kind of vein, get heavy-handed with dialogue. Like they're too worried about like meathead action, and it's like kind of loses all nuance, and the plot really isn't much to speak of, and that sort of thing. This isn't the case on this one, so that's
very cool.
I'm happy about that. Is combining this really like dark, horrible, awesome art with something that's well thought out as well. So
sure,
yeah. This is my couple little recommendations / reviews there.
Sweet.
That was a really good review, actually. I feel like he does say perfect, exactly what we wanted. for KOZOR and what we want readers to get out of it. So
Yeah, totally. I
give
think
them
so.
a sub chat. Thank them for giving us a review. That's good.
Yeah, give them a sub. I think they've got a really cool setup going on there. Actually, his camera looks professional. So did his lighting, and
Yeah.
he had just such a perfect take on KOZOR. And what I love about that review is it doesn't seem like they knew who we were, right? So
Yeah.
it's a bit more honest and a little bit more genuine. And it's really great to see that. Like, okay, what was their honest opinion, their honest
Heck
experience of
yeah.
KOZOR, taking us out of the equation? It's hard to get a proper review like that sometimes. So it was unbiased, it feels like, which is good to see. And a big hello to SDA in the chat. I see that you've joined. We've got the Ryan Cardinal hanging out with us as well. Man, it's so awesome to see you all here. Shelby says, she's talking about Andrea. She is full of discontent. Did nobody tell her she can still get a copy? I know, right? Yeah. Yeah, everybody can still get a copy of KOZOR for the next 24 hours, less than 24 hours, it's gone. And you won't be able to get it anywhere else. We're not sure when we're going to be making it available again at this point in time. It's a little bit up in the air. Just because once we've fulfilled KOZOR, we really don't want to have to worry about it anymore. We want to move on. We've been committing our lives to it for the past 2 years, so it's time to think about things like KOZOR 2 and Borok and Andromenoids and even Renegade Alpha. And we've got another cool book in the works that I've talked to Korey about in the past, which I'd love to see become a reality one day. So, we're creative guys, and we've got a lot of ideas that we would like to manifest. And KOZOR is just the first. So I hope that everyone will be a part of it, that you'll jump on board and become a part of the madness that is KOZOR and the Barton Bros in general. This is our first book, so it's kind of it's sort of awesome to be here with you and the backers who have jumped on board for our first publication as the Barton Bros. I mean, you were all here in the beginning. They say, hey, no matter how successful you get, remember who was there in the beginning. And you guys have been there for us this entire way through. Despite not being able to execute this perfectly, you stood by us. And we want to tell you how much we appreciate that and how happy we are that you're finally getting this book and holding it in your hands. I'll get the campaign up once again. Because I want to take a look at some of the tiers here before we head on out of here. If any questions come up for you guys, just post them in the comments.
I mean, Shelby had a question about M. Night Shyamalan's movie again, The Village.
Did he? Let's get it up here. Shelby Robertson says, American Discord. He says, Korey, if a FedEx plane exploded over the village of M. Night's movie, The Village, and copies of KOZOR were read by the woman who was blind, would they get burned as witches? Wow.
I mean, I reckon it might give these women power over the men. They learn something from KOZOR and Magator, and yeah, then the men would just follow them. So I don't know, start a cult thing in a little village.
Great answer to that question, Korey.
I think so,
Good
man.
answer, man. Yeah. KOZOR can't be burned. It's like the Necronomicon. You can't just burn KOZOR.
What's Jay Ryan say?
Jay Ryan says, I hope that one day that women whose face...
Dude, I hope that one day
so
that
one
women
day-
whose face look like their slapped ass shall one day hold KOZOR in their hands and know once again the joy of the sun and the warmth of upon our skin.
Well, the problem is that this woman in the village is the one that's blind, not everybody else. They can all see. They can all see what her face looks like.
No.
All right, we've got yeah, Braille edition. Wait, what? Wolverine says, Micra, hot blind girl gets a copy of Lone Star, but they tell her it's KOZOR. Shelby says, Button Bros got big regrets for this stream. No, not at all.
It's been a fun stream.
That's so brutal, Jay Ryan. Come on, man. She was nice. She was nice. All right, let's take a look through the tiers here. All right, so we've got all 3 editions. Essentially, you can get the definitive edition, Korey's variant cover, and the black and white edition. So the reason I want to go through these tiers is just to explain exactly what it is you're getting in them. For those who don't know what the black and white edition are, it is a full black and white version of KOZOR. And here's an example of some of the pages. So you get not only the interiors that are black and white, but you also get a black and white cover. And so you might think it's an artist edition with no dialogue, but there actually is dialogue. You can read it just like a regular comic book. Because it's black and white, it's got that nice 80s vintage feel about it. I feel like the only thing that would negate that is the fact that it's not a beautifully painted cover, which is a lot of the time what you would see on those books like Conan Savage Sword, for example. But I want to say that the black and white version of KOZOR is just as cool looking, just as good as the colored version. I appreciate both. I love both equally because the colored version looks great thanks to Korey's colors. They blend so beautifully with the line art, but there's something to be said about experiencing the line art alone. And it really does feel like it gives the whole book a different mood, a different experience. And both of those experiences are absolutely fantastic. So I highly suggest if you are someone who reads comic books and just appreciates the art side of it a lot, because I know some artists out there, including myself, they don't even bother reading the story really or paying attention to it. They just get a book for the art. If you're one of those people, then I highly suggest you pick up the line art edition as well, on top of the colored edition, because they're all great. Yeah, both of those versions of the book are worth having. Plus, the advantage to getting both is that you can read one as many times as you want and still keep a pristine condition one. And if you want to keep both of them in mint condition, then you can either get the 3-pack or you can just, I guess we should have created like a doubled up tier, Corey. People who wanted to get just multiple copies of the book.
Shelby does ask, are any of these editions exclusive to this campaign? And I think we're actually... Maybe if we were going to do KOZOR, like sell the first issue again, we might do a completely new cover.
Yeah, it's really hard to say, honestly. I don't think a lot of the variant covers will be available again, maybe Korey's. But the Kanan White cover, this is probably the one time that we're going to be using it. The original version of KOZOR is a tough one. I mean, we've made it extremely limited, even in this campaign. And I really haven't had a conversation with Korey as to whether or not we're going to make it available ever again.
Yeah. So you should buy all copies just in case one's not available, and it's like worth $1,000 on eBay. So
yeah, the black and white version of the book probably, it's hard to say if that'll be available again as well. I know that for sure that just the regular definitive edition will probably make that available. It might even have the same cover, to be honest with you, because this is this fits perfectly the book. But this definitive version will definitely be available at some point later on in another campaign. But obviously, those campaigns are going to include other books, and so all the versions, all the different variations we're offering here for KOZOR just it'll be beyond the scope of any future campaigns that we end up running. So you've got up the top the Korey variant edition, which is, that's a beautiful looking cover as well. Now the cover I'm going to show you down here, that's been recolored. So it's actually, it hasn't been recolored. It's been prepared for print a little bit better than what you're seeing here. So here it looks dark.
Yeah,
it's fairly high contrast, but we've adjusted it. And do you have a version of it there, Korey, or do you want me to get it up? So this is the KOZOR variant cover right here. And I'll make myself... How do I make myself bigger here? Oh, here we go. This is the variant cover.
Some have said this is like the best cover and made by like a hardcore pro artist.
Yeah, it is.
I'd get it.
It is the best cover. You should get this one, really. Get the definitive version because that's the default cover, but this is really the best variant cover and possibly the best cover between the two if you compare them. So I think it's worth having both for sure. Get the black and white, get the definitive edition and the variant cover because, again, then that way you can just look through the book. And in printed form, because you haven't seen this, or possibly you haven't seen it, but in printed form, KOZOR does look absolutely gorgeous, as you can see here. We put a lot of time into ensuring that this book printed to every degree of quality that we were hoping to achieve with it. And I'll get this other page up as well, just to show you. I won't go through the whole book here, just to give you an idea of what to expect when you open KOZOR for the first time after you backed it.
Got Flynn in
got
the
the
chat.
head there, and the great thing about it. Oh, awesome, Flynn, very very good to see you there. The great thing about it is we put all this detail into KOZOR, and in the end, we were so happy because it showed up in print. All the detailed line art, it's crisp, it's perfectly visible, and we were so glad we went to the lengths that we did after we saw the printed version of KOZOR for the first time. Okay, so we've got the definitive edition on its own. Pretty self-explanatory. It's just like the book I just showed you, except it's just a single book. Get the single book. But here's the other thing I want to mention. What all of these tiers have in common is the book you back is the print you get. Right, now, some of these prints, they vary in size. So, for example, this featured tier up the top here, you're going to get an oversized poster. So it's A3 sized, which in American terms is basically 11.7 by 16.5 inches. It's actually bigger than that, to be honest with you, in the final printout. So, these posters, you can put them anywhere. You can put them in your bedroom. You can put them on your fridge. You can put them in your man cave, wherever, right? Or if you're a woman backing the book, you can put that wherever you like, okay? It's going to make great decoration around your home. Get it framed. These are super high quality prints. They have a good stock. We really didn't pull any punches when it came to providing quality to our backers. We overspent, to be quite frank with you, to ensure that. And so they're worth, keeping in nice condition, keeping framed and putting them somewhere where you can see it every day and feel inspired.
Shelby left a good comment. He said, you guys do very detailed work in lines and colors, but it's all coherent, not a jumbled mess like a lot of other books. Yeah, I agree.
Thanks, man.
I agree.
Really, really appreciate that. We're going to wrap this up pretty quickly, so I'm just going to run through these. We've got the Cane and White variant. Again, probably will only be available in this campaign. So make sure that if you want it, you back it. Got the definitive edition and the Korey variant together. You've got the definitive edition and the black and white version together. Again, if you back the definitive edition and you back the black and white, then you're going to get the definitive edition and black and white version poster as well. You've got all the variants here. So you get the definitive edition in this tier along with Korey's variant cover and the Cane and White variant cover. That one's a pretty popular one because I know a lot of people want. Well, I mean, there's 22 people who have claimed it, but I know a lot of people like all of these covers, right? They love Corey's, they want the definitive edition, but they also really enjoy Cane and White's as well. So that's why we made that tier in the first place. And then this is probably
we've got Camel Moon in the chat as well now.
Hey, Camel Moon, good to see you. Awesome to have you in the chat there. In the final tier, this is the one I really want to expand on. So it's the biggest one. It is the most expensive, but you do get extra bang for your buck. You got to trust me on that, and here's why. In this
Original
tier,
sketch by me.
Yeah, so exactly. In this tier, you get 4 books. So you get the definitive edition, you get the black and white version, you get Corey's variant cover, and you also get the original version of KOZOR. Okay, so that's one of the most special things about this tier. It's the only tier that you can get it, and it is limited. 25 of these books, 25 people have already backed this tier, which means there are 25 spots available. That's all that's left in order to get the original version of KOZOR. We had to limit it because Corey's not going to be able to draw 1 billion original sketches, which is, you know, exactly what he's doing for this tier as well. So you get original artwork from Korey, you get the exclusive collector's item, which is the original edition of KOZOR, untouched, untarnished by me. It's all Korey, from the line art to the colors to the dialogue. I haven't even edited that, right? And it's oversized, so it's a little bit bigger than a normal comic, which is even better. That's the original dimensions Korey created it in.
It's probably like the cheapest way to get my original art. To say.
Probably, yeah. And then on top of it, you get posters of each one of those books, plus a few extras. You get trading cards that are exclusive to this tier. So everybody is going to get trading card 1 and 2, of course. That's part of the stretch goals. But what most people don't realize is that there's actually 3 additional trading cards that are included just in this tier. If you don't back this tier, you don't get them, essentially. Right? So you get and that's including the stretch goal trading cards. So if you back this tier, you get card 1, card 2, which everyone else gets, but you also get card 3, 4, and 5 as well on top of that. Fantastic. You also get a bookmark, KOZOR bookmark. You can't get that anywhere else. You can't get that in any other tier. So again, we've tried to pump as much value as possible into this package. Highly suggest you get it. It's going to have a lot of exclusive collector items in there for KOZOR that won't be available anywhere else, if ever, again. So this is your chance. Be one of the 25, one of the 50 people who this tier is available to, and who take advantage of it. All right, we've actually got to wrap it up there. I'll show the stretch goal stuff that everybody is getting. So we didn't plan on adding this. We didn't tell a lot of people that we were going to add it, but everybody is going to get the Michael Pedro and me. You know, me and Michael Pedro, we teamed up on this print. Everybody gets this, right? It's an A4 print, beautifully colored by Michael Pedro, line art by me. You also get the Dan Lawless print. Freaking awesome. If you like Frank Frazetta, you're going to love this print. And then we've got the Shelby Robertson and Michael Pedro team up. Big thank you to Shelby Robertson and Michael for putting this together for us. It's one of my favorite pieces. I show it off everywhere I go, and they really went all out. To be quite honest with you, I think they're the dream team. So everybody is going to get these prints just as a bonus, right? All right, so I'm going to go through the chat one last time. Shelby Robertson says, can I put posters next to the apple tree to remind my wife of what women did to the world? Sure, go ahead. That sounds pretty awesome to me. Jay Ryan says, yeah, let them ruin so much and we still gave them the vote. We'll never learn. All right. Shelby Robertson says, line art edition all day, every day. No offense, Corey. Yeah,
I am going to take offense.
They're both good.
Shelby, I put a lot of work in all these colors. I'm offended.
All right, sweet. And we've got Shelby Robertson again. He says he's fun to draw, but damn, so much detail. Yeah, it takes a while to draw Chief Baron. You're in for it if you if you have to
Chief
do that.
Baron's not a simple looking character like Rage Fatality. He's brutal.
Oh, come on, that's brutal, man. Shelby Robertson did an amazing job on Chief Baron. It's like I said, I haven't got that poster myself yet, but hell yes, I'm gonna get one done up. Imagine that. Yes. Corey, next time you come over, man, you're going to see a sick Shelby Robertson KOZOR poster on my wall. Make no mistake about it. All right, everyone. Yeah,
Look,
go ahead.
We're against pink. We try it. Look, there's a bit of pink on Magator's brain, but there's not much pink in the KOZOR book, okay? Like KOZOR, it's a hardcore book. There's no pink allowed. Just say. It's a joke.
Awesome. Any other final words before we head on out of
please
here?
write a book. We worked hard on it. I think me and you both love the book. We're gonna keep on doing comic books like this. So yeah, this support means a lot.
Absolutely.
And I want to be able to get more anime figures as well. So
for sure. Corey needs to add some more funds to the KOZOR figure fund. I mean, sorry, to the Corey figure fund. Korey and KOZOR, I get confused between the two of those all the time. Yeah, it's been really awesome to do this Q&A, and if you do have any additional questions that you think of after the stream, please feel free to email me at claytonbarton@howtodrawcomics.net. I'll be able to receive those questions then and answer them for you. So remember, 24 hours, less than 24 hours left before KOZOR closes out. I hope you'll get a copy of it. I really do, because I don't want you to miss out on this book. Corey and I know how good it is because of the amount of time it took to get it to that point. There's been an awesome reception so far. All you got to do is search KOZOR anywhere, KOZOR on YouTube, KOZOR on Twitter, to see what people's reactions are, and that'll give you a good idea as to whether or not it's worth a worthwhile investment for you, worth getting this independent book, creator owned by the Barton Bros.
Okay. Oh, and there will be a KOZOR 2. So we are going to bring out Borok and Andromenoids next, probably in a campaign together. But after that, probably later next year, I'll be full on into KOZOR 2. The thumbnails for it already done.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. There's a lot that Corey's got planned for KOZOR. So when you decide to back KOZOR issue 1 today, do so knowing this, that it's just the beginning. The madness will continue in issue 2. All right, well, that's it from the Barton Bros for today. I want to give a big thank you to everybody who jumped into the chat. It was awesome to hang out with you guys, especially as we're so close to closing up KOZOR now. Corey, thank you for being here as well, and for hanging out. Always appreciate you, man. All right, until next time, everybody, hope you back KOZOR. Look after yourselves, and we'll see you again real soon.